What is going on, guys? Welcome back to another video with your host, as always, K-Mac Time, and today I want to take a closer look at the Nintendo Switch for this holiday season. Take a look at some of the things you should know going into if it's the first time you're purchasing one for a loved one, perhaps for Christmas or for the holidays. What games, what accessories, what things you need to know about the Switch if you don't know, and then even if you have one now, you're looking to pick up some games you may not have known about or some good ones for on sale. This guide should hopefully be your one-stop shop for all things Switch for the holidays. Now, starting out, you're going to want yourself to get, obviously, the Nintendo Switch. There's awesome bundles out right now. There's a Smash Bros. Bundle out. There's a Pokemon Let's Go bundle out. So if you're looking to jump into the Switch for the first time, or you're looking to pick up a brand new Switch for a loved one, then this is the way to go. I would recommend getting the Smash Bundle or maybe the Pokemon Go bundle. They look really cool. They come with the games and they're really awesome, and the kids will love them. Now, some of the things you're going to want to take a look for accessories, so things that don't necessarily come with the Switch, things that you have to purchase after. One of the biggest things about that is the internal memory of the Switch. You may not have known this, but there is a tiny little memory card that goes in the bottom of the Switch somewhere in here. I can't really find it right now. Anyway, it's a micro SD card, and it does not come with one, so you have to go out and purchase one. You can get like a 32 gig one for really cheap, but I would recommend going above and beyond on this because it sucks when you have to download games to this or you have to save your files to this, which can take up a lot of memory. If you get like a 32 gig one, yes, it'll work, and yes, it's cheap, but you'll quickly fill it up, and then you have to be worried about swapping out memory cards and what's on what memory card. You potentially lose one, which means you lose a lot of games. So I would recommend getting like a 128 gigabyte memory card. They're about $30, $40. They're not that bad, but it does suck you get to buy one, but unfortunately, that's just the way it goes. Of course, you could purchase more Joy-Cons. Now, if you're not familiar, Joy-Cons are the little controllers that come off of the Switch. They're about $70 a pair. There are different colored ones. Mine came with just gray. The system itself does come with two, but if you were looking to have multiple people, maybe you have multiple kids, they want to share this or they want to play with their friends, Joy-Cons are a good way to go about that. Another way to go about that, and an accessory that I think is almost necessary at this point, is this is called the Nintendo Pro Controller. It's pretty expensive. It's about $60, $70. It's pretty expensive, I know, for a controller, but it is worth it. It's a very nice controller. If you're looking to play on your television and not just in handheld mode, this is my preferred way to play. I would highly, highly recommend getting this. There are cheaper things you can get in terms of controllers like this. There's a wired version that is much cheaper. It's okay if you're on a budget. It's okay. They do come in cool designs as well, with characters on them, but they're not as good as quality as the Nintendo brand Pro Controller. I highly recommend this one. I don't have one currently, but there is also what they call a GameCube controller. That's going to be a Smash Bros. Controller. If you're looking to get the Smash Brothers game, you should definitely look into getting a Smash Bros. Controller, GameCube style controller. Those are really cool. Really going to be really fun to play that game on. Also, another thing to take a look at here is a carrying case. It's an absolute must for the system if you're going to be playing the system on the go or taking it on road trips, things like that. A carrying case, this is a Zelda one. You can get one for about $15 or so on Amazon or GameStop. And they have loads of different ones. There's hard cases. This is a soft case. Usually they come with slots to hold your games, things like hold your accessories. They zip up. They protect your system. They're absolutely necessary to have. Kids are always going to be dropping these, losing these, things like that. So highly recommend getting a case. Another thing that's worth mentioning is to get a clear coat cover, one of those like sticky ones that goes over top of the screen to prevent scratching. They're pretty cheap. Make sure you get a quality one though. Don't get one that's gonna have bubbles underneath of it, or one that's like lower quality. Make sure you're getting read the reviews on those. They're pretty cheap, about $10, but they do prevent the screen from getting scratched. So if your child's gonna be playing this a lot, and traveling with it a lot, and needing to pull it in and out of a backpack or just has it in the car, things like that, it can get scratched up pretty easily. Another thing to take a look at here is they do sell extra docks. So this is the one that came with it, but they do sell extra ones. And the thing to know about the docks is that they're pretty expensive. They're like $70, $80. And the only thing that they do really is to make them play on your TV. So if you wanted to have two docks and you could buy a separate one, you could just pick up your Switch, move it from a different room into a different TV that has a dock hooked up to it, and just drop it in and it'll play. It's nice, not ultimately necessary. I don't plan on ever buying a second one. They're pretty, like I said, they're pretty expensive. But it's a cool option to have if you have multiple TVs. You want to pick up your system and unplug it all. You can just pick up the Switch, drop it in the dock, and it'll work. That's pretty cool. Another thing worth mentioning here is Joy-Con controller charging stations. These are pretty cool. Now, the actual Joy-Cons, the way they charge, originally is they charge by putting them on the Switch like this, and then putting the Switch in the dock while it's plugged in. It'll charge them. But if you have multiple sets, if you have 4 or 6 Joy-Con, you can't obviously charge them all at once. So getting a Joy-Con charge station is actually highly recommended as well. Yeah, and lastly here is something that you may not be familiar with if you've never played online games before. If you're looking to buy this for a loved one, you may not have known this, but there are lots and lots of games you can buy, actually thousands of them, that are not actually physical games. They're only online. And the only way to purchase them is to buy them from what they call the Nintendo eShop. Now, the Nintendo eShop is loaded with lots of cool games you can't buy anywhere else. So buying someone what they call an eShop card or a currency on there, they sell these at GameStop, you can buy them on Amazon. So giving someone like a $20 card on there, like a gift card basically, is amazing, because there's just loads and loads of games you guys can get on there that are outstanding. So make sure you're taking that into consideration as well. Alright, now I want to get into some games. What games you should be looking at, what they cost, what games are good, what games are bad. And obviously the first party Nintendo games, your Zeldas, your Marios, your Mario Karts, are going to be must-haves. I would say that every Switch needs to have at least 2 or 3 of the following games. And we're talking Mario Odyssey, Zelda Breath of the Wild, Mario Kart 8, Smash Bros. Is coming out, Pokemon Let's Go is out. These games are typically not very cheap. They don't go on sale very often or ever. Nintendo games usually don't. So you're looking at probably a full $60 price tag on these games, but they are worth it. These are games you absolutely must have if you have a Switch. You just can't have a Switch and not have a Mario game. It just is something you need to have. Zeldas as well. Like I said, Smash Brothers is coming out later this week. That is going to be the hottest Switch game of the season. Your child's definitely going to want Smash Brothers. And Pokemon's always very popular as well. Pokemon Let's Go, Eevee, and Pikachu just came out. Are very, very good games, so I would highly recommend those as well. They do come with a different bundle. One comes with a Pokewalker for $100, and it comes with just a case version for $60. I would recommend getting the $100 version. But those are games you guys probably want to have at least 2 to 3 out of them. Those are must-haves for the Switch. Like I said, every Switch needs those games. But there are other first-party Nintendo games that are pretty good, but you don't necessarily need them. These are kind of like the games that are in between. They're fun to have, but you don't necessarily need them. And those games would be like your Mario Party, your Splatoon 2, Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze, Mario Rabbids Kingdom Battle, Mario Tennis Aces, Kirby All-Star Allies, your Xenoblade Chronicles 2. All those games are also top tier games. Those are games that your children will love, you might love. But those games, again, typically don't go on sale very often. You're looking at about $50 to $60 for those games as well. You really, most of the time, can't go wrong with first-party Nintendo games like that. I highly recommend all of those games. Just loads and loads of fun. Your kids will enjoy them. Now let's talk about some games that aren't first party, meaning they're not made by Nintendo, but they are still very fun. These games are games like Rocket League, like Doom, things like that. These games can range from $35 to $65 as well, usually in that price range. Games like Minecraft, Dragon Ball Fighter Z, Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2, Octopath Traveler is a really hot one this season. Octopath Traveler is one of the most popular games. You're probably going to be wanting to pick that one up. Of course, older games like Skyrim HD Collection on there. Your basketball and soccer games, your NBA 2K18s, your FIFA 2K18s, very popular. Those are $60 games as well, but they run great, they look great on the Switch, and I recommend them for anyone. We've also got some other games. There's Diablo 3 out. That's a really cool one. Another game that people are maybe looking at is Monster Boy and the Cursed Kingdom. It's a newer game that just came out. You may never have heard of it, but it's actually really fun. It's a platforming game. It's really well done. Highly recommend that one. Some older games that came out last year that might be worth picking up if you're just now getting into the Switch. South Park Fractured But Whole is a really cool game. If your children are fans of the show, or if you're a fan of the show, it sticks true to it. It's a little bit more adult, so if your kids are a little younger, I would steer clear of that one. But if you have like a teenager or something like that, or if you're looking to pick it up, it's a really fun game. If you're a fan of the show, it's downright hilarious. It's only $40 now, so I recommend that one. There's also the new starter pack out for the Starlink game. It was originally $75, but right now on Amazon it's down to $40, and I highly recommend this game. It's so cool. Now there are ways to spend extra money on it. You can buy extra models and toys and things like that. You can spend more money because the way that the game works is you build the ship in real life. You take the pieces and you build the ship, and you scan it, and it scans into the game, and that's your ship you're using, and it's really cool. And in the Nintendo's case, it gets to use Star Fox characters, so it's even cooler. But you don't necessarily need to buy those. You don't need to buy the extra figures. You don't need to spend extra money. You can complete the whole game as is with just a starter pack, and right now it's on sale for $40, almost half off its original price, and it's an amazing game. It looks great, it plays great. If you're a Star Fox fan, if you're a Nintendo fan, it's absolutely amazing, and a pretty good price on it right now. Highly recommend that one. Now let's talk about some games that may be a little more under the radar, and they're actually a little bit cheaper. Now these games are going to be $30 or less, brand new, even cheaper if you can find them used at GameStop or online retailers. And these games that, again, are solid. I recommend these. These are really good games. Your kids, you might even want to play these yourself. Really good games. Starting out here we have Shantae the Half Genie Hero, a really cool action platforming game. It came out a while ago on PS4 and Xbox, but it made its way to the Nintendo Switch, and it comes in a really cool collector's edition kind of thing as well if you're into that. And it's only $30, so I highly recommend picking that one up. Another game here we have just came out a couple weeks ago, and it's called Bendy. It's an interesting game. I've not put too much time into it, but if your kids are fans of like Five Nights at Freddy's, something along those lines, it's right up their alley, and it's only $30. It's a really cool game, and I highly recommend it. It's got a really cool art style as well. I love that one. Of course, you get your Mega Man collections, your Mega Man 1 and 2 collection, you get your Mega Man X and X2 collection. Mega Man 11 just came out. All of those are solid options. Those games are tried, true, and tested, and Mega Man 11 on top of that is actually really good. And those games are typically $30. Another game that's amazing, and it's just been one of the most popular games that came out of nowhere. You may never have heard of it if you're not a big gamer, and that is Dead Cells. Dead Cells is super good game, and it's only $30. Highly recommend getting this one. It can be a stocking stuffer or an extra game you buy on top of buying the $60 Mario game. Highly recommend Dead Cells. You will not be disappointed in that one. Other games to look at are Owlboy. Axiom Verge is $30. Cheaper game than that, if you're looking for an even cheaper game, is Sin Mora EX. It's around $15 to $20. You can find it used, maybe even cheaper at GameStop, and it's a really cool game. It's a shoot 'em up game. It's like a horizontal shooter. It's pretty good. Another game that I would recommend getting on the super cheap is maybe like an extra throw-in game. Has Been Heroes. It's a pretty cheap game. I wouldn't recommend this game to everyone. It's kind of like a strategy game. It's not that great of a game, but you can find it dirt cheap these days. Used copies, usually under $10. So if you're looking for an extra game, just throw in there, give them 5 games, something like that, and you can find it. It's really cheap, and I highly recommend picking that one up as well. And finally, I wanted to talk about games to avoid. Games that I know to be bad. Games your kids won't like. Games you won't like. Games that are just either broken, they don't work, or laggy, they're bad graphics, they were bad review scores, or just generally games I don't think are worth the price tag. You should spend your money elsewhere on better games. So starting off this list is WWE 2K18. I don't care how big of a fan of wrestling your kids are, do not buy this game. It is riddled with bugs. It is almost unplayable. It's just really bad, and it's still pretty expensive. I think it's like $40 to $60 new still. and you can just spend your money so much better elsewhere on Mario games or even like third-party games like Doom. Just recommend staying away from that one. Another game to look out for, to avoid, and I don't reckon necessarily avoiding this game if your kids really want this, but there is a Fortnite package out. Now the thing about Fortnite is, if you may not know, it's actually free to play on the Switch. You can download it straight to your Switch for free, play the entire game for free. But there is a version of this that you can buy on store shelves for about $30. It's like a Fortnite Frozen Pack or something like that. It doesn't actually come with the game. It doesn't come with anything in it. It's an empty box. All it comes with is a code for in-game currency, so they can buy more power-ups and weapons and skins inside of that game. So if they're into Fortnite, it's not the worst thing to buy them, but you can play the whole game for free. Spending $30 on it like that, you could buy a whole game for that. And Fortnite is free, so I would recommend steering clear of that one unless it's what they ask for. Of course, if they ask for it, pick it up for them. Another game that I think are two games you should stay away from is 1-2 Switch and Snipper Clips. These games came out a while back with the release of the Switch, and they've yet to go down in price. They're still pretty expensive, $40 to $60, depending on wherever you buy it, used or new. And I just don't think these games are fun, especially 1-2 Switch. It's gimmicky, it's not very cool. Your kids will play it a little bit, put it away, and probably never play it again. So I recommend steering clear of those games, and like I said, you can spend those games on Mario, Mario Kart, Zelda, games they'll play hundreds and hundreds of hours of for the same price as a game they probably won't pick up a second time. So finally, some games, other games to avoid here, to go through these quickly. Monster Jam Crush It, it's a monster truck game. It's not very good. Brawl Out, it's actually a fighting game. It's actually not a very bad game, but Smash Brothers is the fighting game that your kids are going to want, the game that you're going to want. Smash Brothers is a superior game in every way. Brawl Out is not a bad game by any means, but you're just going to want to play Smash Brothers more. Also, Cartoon Network Battle Crashers. It's a below average game, and it's still pretty pricey for being how old it is. It came out a few years ago, and it's not a very good game. I didn't care for it. And finally, the two games I recommend staying clear of the most is ARMS, another first-party Nintendo game that, for whatever reason, is still very, very expensive. I think it's like $45 to $60 still. And it's okay. It's usually the motion controls to punch and box kind of. It's neat, it's okay, but I don't think it's worth the full price tag anymore. If you can find it used or find it cheap, it's okay. Purchase for your kids, but I would recommend steering clear of that. And the game I recommend steering clear of the most, if there's a game you buy or don't buy, these are the two to not buy. These are the ones that you should just steer clear of no matter what. And that is Ark. Ark is awful. The version on the Switch is downright unplayable. It's very bad. It just released not too long ago, so it's a full $60 game, and it is trash as of right now. I mean, they may fix it in the future, but I doubt it. If you're looking to play that game, I would recommend playing it on Xbox, PS4, or PC. The Switch version, like I said, is just bad. And probably the worst game you could possibly buy a loved one, it's almost like giving them a rotten egg, is Troll and I. This game is just terrible. Do not buy Troll and I. It's riddled with bugs. It's got a weird story. It's not a very good game at all, and it's just garbage, and they'll probably never play it, so they'll probably end up selling it off. But anyway, guys, those are just some recommendations that I have. There are hundreds and hundreds of games out for the Switch right now. Some are just top-notch. So if you're looking to get into the Switch for this holiday season, or if you're looking to get into it for a loved one, pick it up for them. And now's a great time. There's all kinds of great things coming out. Smash Brothers is coming out. All kinds of fun things on the Nintendo Switch. It's a great time to be a gamer, and it's a good time to get into the Switch if you guys have never done it before. But thank you guys so much for watching today's video. Hopefully you guys learned something. If you're looking to pick something up for your loved one, hopefully you guys learned a little bit of something. I know that gaming can be kind of confusing for people that aren't really into it, and there's a lot of accessories, a lot of games you don't really know, so I thought I'd make a quick video to kind of help some people along. But anyway, guys, thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you guys appreciated the information. If you guys do me a favor, smash that like button down below, subscribe for more videos like this in your sub box daily, and until next time, guys, remember that it's always KMac time somewhere. Until then, take it easy and peace.
Right in.
That isn't John.